Hi guys, welcome to Sons of Cain. On this video we're going to be looking at the figure of 8, but we're going to extend it a little bit. If you haven't seen the figure 8 before, have a look at the top. We'll put a little link up there to start you off on this journey. But here we're going to just change it slightly, adapt it through, and show you a different way of doing a figure of 8.
We'll also be looking at specific targets you can hit, but as you know with the cane, you can go for a pressure point, but it doesn't really matter if you hit it or not.
Right, by now you should know the figure of 8. If you haven't seen it, we'll put a little link up top, go and check it out. But the basic figure 8 is this. It's great for keeping people at bay, and when you start getting speed up, no one's going to want to walk into you. But what happens if they're right next to you? So I'm going to bring Chris in. So as you can see, the distance here, and I do the figure 8 really, really slowly. Not that good. So, horn facing away from me, crook, shaft, mid-shaft grab. What we're looking at here, I've got my tripod, cane, foot. It's almost like an elbow, but I'm doing the figure of 8. I've now got points that I can hit quite closely as it comes through. All I'm doing is my knuckles are coming up, coming down to the bottom, rotating the wrist clockwise, and then coming backwards. This is all I'm doing. So it gives you a hit with a drag, followed by another hit with a drag. And it's really good. I love this with a two-handed grab. So Chris is going to come in two-handed grab. Now, in a conflict situation, he will be looking straight at me with a threatening, menacing type thing. Anything below his arms is hidden. So I've got a fantastic hidden strike here. Again, mid-shaft grab. And all I'm doing is bringing the crook in and hitting the floating ribs. Anyone that's been hit there will understand that, for starters, the body's going to move into that position. Arm is bent, he's going to go down. But not only if I hit, but as I've come through, just doing that little wrist grab, so the thumb's coming up, little finger's coming out. So I've hit again. Now with the figure 8, if I come up, as I've gone past his body, my hand's coming up on his right hand side, I'm coming up, I've now cleared his hands. Now I can knuckle strike to the head, crook strike to the head. This is the first thing we can do, is actually just keep coming with a figure of 8 and destroy. The second one, we've hit the ribs, his grip's loose, we've come up with the hand, I'm just going to come straight down onto the back of his neck. I can angle the crook to get the base of the skull, the neck, behind the shoulder blade. With these horns, even with padded jackets on, we find that the penetration goes through. It's such a small point and a lot of pressure. I'm then just going to bring him down. As I'm bringing him down, I'm taking one step back, still got my tripod, and I'm just going to drag through. Oh look, nice strike to the face. Or, double-handed grip, into the rib, grab through, come up, come back, strike to the groin, another step back. I've now got my distance to keep him at bay. So let's look at this in the wheelchair now, shall we? So, back in my chair, I've got the grip that I like, top shaft, crook facing outwards. If Chris comes in and Chris is right-handed, he will strike with his right hand, which has opened up lots of strikes for me. I can go straight into the sternum, follow it up for the chin. I want to be nasty, come back down, right into the, we call this the clavicle. It's the collarbone, and there's a little soft spot there, which is between the neck and the shoulder, and you can feel it on yourself. You just push in, you get behind the bone. I'm not going to do it hard with this one because it's got a very sharp tip on it, and just a little gentlest pressure is going to bring him down. If you really, really want to be nasty, because we've taken the head up, there's a cricoid point, which is just here in the neck. If you want to see it, and this is quite fun, block your nose off with your fingers, put your hand across your mouth and breathe. although one of our viewers think that I'm very nasty with Chris and I hurt him a lot, we'll be very, very gentle with Chris today. What I'm going to do is, actually little finger, just going to put in that position and pull down. How does it feel?
Not nice.
Not nice. With this thing, it's going to be devastating. So with the punch that's come through, you've got the check. So I'm blocking my free arm, I'm striking with a crook. What if he's left-handed? You've got the strike there, and it opens up everything. You've got the shoulder to pull through, you can come straight to the neck. I don't like crossing my arms too much, so what I would do is I'd get from there, come through. I've still got a guard hand for the other strike that's going to come through inevitably, and I can start working any point that I want. Chris will go through the pressure points that I'm going to be aiming for, but just for now with the small cane. Also, if it comes to the two-handed grab, unlike the large cane, I've actually got a lift that I can do, and it's just a little tap. Because I don't know how aggressive he's going to be, okay, he's got his hands on me, do I really want to destroy him, or do I just want him to get him out of the way? From other videos you'll see the rollovers that we've done them before, but what I want to do is look at this rib area. You can follow your ribs down, and they come through, and they meet at the sternum, which is here. Just underneath the sternum is the solar plexus, and you follow the rib cage through. These ribs are not attached. Right at the base here are two small floater ribs. They come to about here on Chris, and if you just tap them, it gives you that sort of collapse feeling. There was a mixed martial art fighter I know, you should know by the name of Dave Speedy, and his main move was to go low and basically roundhouse strike into them, and the people dropped, totally dropped. So can you imagine, even with just a little tap here, it's going to drop them. So with the two-handed grab, you've got the strike, you've got the drag if you want. As you come through, bring your other hand up, grab the crook, give it another little strike. You're coming up with a figure of 8, you're into this position. I've still got a free hand. I'm going to hit the other's floater rib. Or I could clear, and now I'm working the dead side. If I want to be nasty, I come for the neck, I secure the elbow, shoulder, elbow, wrist. If you pull it in line, they move. So I've got the neck, I know where the elbow is, both together. All I'm looking for, not a finishing move because he's only just grabbed me, he's threatening, but I don't want to do too much. I don't want to get in trouble for going to town on him. So with this, grab, move, get out of the way, get some distance, reevaluate.
So what we're going to talk about here is where Kev was saying about points to hit and hidden hands. So what I'm going to do is just get Callum to put his hand out as though he's going to grab me. Now I'm going to tell him to move his hand when he sees I'm going to grab it. So I'm going to go and try and grab his hand with this hand. He can see it, but if he looks down this way, you can see his arm there. So if I'm going to grab his hand, okay, I was told this is called chasing the scorpion shadow, but what's happened is if I leave my hand out and his hands are there, so if he goes to grab my hand with his opposite hand, I can see it, it's there. But if his hand's down and he comes up this way, it's very difficult for me to see, and I will be focused on his head. So that's one of the little things. So I like the way it was called, chasing the scorpion shadow. These points Kev was talking about that we can go for. Now, when he said about hooking the neck, now, wherever you can take a pulse is a good place to press or strike somebody. So I'm going to get Callum just to feel the pulse in my neck. Yep, got it?
Yep.
Okay. So all I'm going to do, if he grabs hold of the cane, he's going to hook round the neck.
This way.
Yep. And then with his thumb, we'll just turn slightly side on. With his thumb, he's going to press in that point. So as he presses that way, he's pulling that way. This is stomach 9, if you're interested, but it's where you take the pulse in the neck. So he's going to pull, push.
Okay.
Yeah, go for it. And he very quickly let go, which I'm glad he did. So you can hit there. So even if I gave him a light tap here, it's a very dangerous to hit hard. So we tend to do what we call a soft strike here, and it momentarily gives you that little burst of high blood pressure. But when you're doing the figure of 8 coming in, figure 8 with the other hand, you've got this technique. On the top here, we've got gallbladder 21. So all I'm going to get him to do this time, this strike goes from here down, it's vertically down. So I'm going to ask him to use not the crook end this time, so just flip the cane. And so if he, where this meets here, so he's avoiding my ear and my neck, it's directly down and it's just vertical strike. So this is number 12 strike in the K Master system. So it's just going to be this flick down and it's going to strike that. And it just makes the knees drop. So again, when you're doing this figure of 8, you don't need your cane, but it works really well with the cane. Floating ribs we talk about, gallbladder 26. And if you look where my hands are, where my fingertips brush, you've got gallbladder 32, gallbladder 31. So if he just gives that a tap, there, so where my fingertips would end, if he gives that a tap, we call that the dead leg spot. And this is one of the first things we do when we are doing combat techniques. We always strike this point first. It weakens the legs, but it fires up the nervous system. Kev's got a wonderful medical explanation of why this happens. Very useful point, but figure of 8, bringing it down onto that point at that downward angle, coming up at that upward angle is a really effective strike. And quite often, that's your finisher. So your first strike ends it. You can either destroy the computer for a head strike to stop people, or the transport system. This is safer. As we said in the beginning, with the pressure point strikes, if you miss them, it doesn't matter. You're hitting somebody with your cane. These are enhancers to your technique, but what they will do is give you time to think. And often fights end very, very quickly because you get flustered and get log jammed or whatever it is that happens, and you haven't got time to think. With these simple strikes, it gives you breathing space. 1 to 3 seconds in a fight is a long time. So if you whack somebody in one of these points, you've got time to think and either clear the situation or end the situation as quickly as possible. Now, as you saw with Kev's video, he was dragging from the ribs across the stomach. Across here, that goes around, is the girdle meridian. Now, there was a boxer called Harold Graham, or Harold the Bomber Graham. I had a couple of training sessions with him once, and one of his techniques was to punch and drag his punch across this line. So if Callum just uses the crook and drags it across, just really where my belly button is, just go across. So if he drags it across, it makes you lean forward. So I'm basically presenting my head and chin to this or this. So his technique was to actually drag his fist across there, so the head would come forward, and he'd finish with an uppercut. With a cane, it's enhanced. So either drag with this or drag with this. So going across the ribs gives that reaction. This enhances it, and that you're basically presenting a target for your opponent. So it is a good line to remember. Good example of this, I may be here, so you're going to drag it across there, ribs down, he's grabbed the crook and then he's driving it in. So this line coming up here, it's called the conception vessel. It's good, we will talk in depth about this later. Solar plexus, xiphoid process, the sternum, really good. What we're going to do is flip sides so you can see that hand change. So he's done the strike in the ribs, he's dragged that across, he's then grabbed the cane with both hands, he's driving forward, and as he's doing that, he's created distance. If I'm stupid enough to then go back in, you can start going in with your big figure of 8. So from one very simple move, there's a plethora of techniques that you can use from it.
Thanks for watching, guys. We hope you like this video. It is the first in the series. It is the beginner. It's just going to give you a few ideas. Give us a thumbs up. Drop a line down below in the comment section. Keep them comments coming, guys. We really like them.
If you haven't done already, please subscribe. But don't forget, you only have to hit that subscribe button once. As always, please ring the bell and free the fear.